September 28th. I was playing golf at David L. Baker with some friends, and it was like hole 14 or 15. The lights turned off, and like I remember just like being thankful because my left nut was killing me. Like a low, dull ache, like somewhere in the middle between like my pelvis and my stomach. And in my younger 20s, I had this thing called torsion once. And that's kind of what it felt like. And it had been so many years since having that I kind of thought, maybe that's what this is. Like, if this doesn't feel better by tomorrow, I'll go to the urgent care. So I went home, tried to sleep, kind of unsuccessfully. And I just couldn't. It was just too like annoying and dull and in my guts. So the next day I went to an urgent care, and my wife, being a medical professional, was, you know, obviously in support of that. She felt it. She didn't like the way it felt. She's not, you know, a urologist, oncologist, but, you know, she knows when something doesn't feel right. And in me saying that it doesn't feel right, we both agreed. So we went, and I was given just like a basic physical at first. And every medical professional that I had that evening, from the initial physician to the ultrasound technician to the CAT scan technician to like the other 10 medical professionals on staff in the advanced urgent care that night, like they all had the same look on their face, but nobody said anything because I don't think they can until, you know, they're positive. They all had like this real somber, kind of stoic look on their face when they were examining me. And I just kind of had like a bad feeling that it wasn't something that was going to be like a quick fix. And it was like 11:37 p.m. September the 28th. And I was like staring at the digital clock that was behind the physician's shoulders. And he told me, like, you have testicular cancer. And he kind of put that little black piece of paper on that little board and like showed me all the nodes that were across like my abdomen and in my lungs. And basically told me that I had stage 3 testicular cancer, which was, you know, fucking news to me because I didn't feel like I had cancer. I found out I didn't really have like a morbid mortal fear of dying or anything. It just was that I had a fear of leaving things like unkempt. Not that like I didn't, you know, play Bandon Dunes or Pinehurst or like Tobacco Road, or like I haven't been to like a different country or something. None of those things really crossed my mind. It was like I have 3 little girls that I can't, you know, just abandon here in an unbeknownst amount of time. Like, because I had, between hearing that I had stage 3 testicular cancer and like hearing what my treatment was, or like how far it had really gone across like my lymph system. Because to me, I'm fairly medically uneducated, other than being married to my wife, who's very medically educated. From the time that I walked into the urgent care to the time that I left the next day without a left nut, it was like 18 hours. From hearing that you have cancer to leaving there one ball down was like 18 hours. Everything was just really fast. From the time that I got my testicle removed to starting chemo was 1 month exactly.
I remember we talked on the phone and you said the first thing you thought of was leaving your wife and daughters.
Yeah.
Like,
really, that was,
number 1.
Yeah, that was like my only true fear, was like that someone else in, you know, years to come would swoop in on a gold mine and raise 3 beautiful little girls and steal my hot wife. And that just, I just couldn't deal with that. Basically, no matter what they told me, I was just going to do whatever it took to be here for as long as I could, knowing nothing. Everyone sees cancer around them, right? But like no one gets cancer in everyone's minds, right? Like cancer's all around us, but it's never actually like you who has it. And I don't think that I deserved cancer, or like that it was karma, or somewhere along like my universal timeline, like I was the one that fucked up. Like I don't think that. I think some people are just fucking unlucky and you just get cancer, and you can be strong-willed about it, and you can not make it everyone else's fucking problem that you have cancer. Or you can just, give in and walk towards the light. And some people elect to do that. I saw the strangest variety of people in my 207 hours of chemo, 31 treatments, 207 hours. Like, it was shitty, man. Chemo, 0 for 10. I don't recommend that to anyone. The one thing I will say is having a curable cancer, if you go about it the right way, like you can cure yourself of anxiety and depression at the same time. That was the case for me. I was completely functionally depressed prior to having cancer. I didn't wake up with like a joyous feeling or even a functional feeling like I needed to go smoke to feel okay about the day. I would wake up earlier so that I could go smoke and not be as stoned by the time like my kids woke up. It's just not a great way to live. With a mentality like that, you're not going to last very long, whether it's mentally or physically. So for me, cancer was sort of like a necessary evil. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, and I wouldn't like trade the experience for anything. I needed it. I needed to feel. You don't know how you feel about living until someone tells you that you won't just continue to aimlessly exist. We all just wake up every day whether or not we want to. It's just something that you do. And so I think it's really unique and kind of profound when someone tells you that you won't just continue to get to do that. Whether it's months or years, your clock is ticking when you hear that you have stage 3 cancer. No matter what kind of cancer it is. Like testicular cancer is curable for sure, but if you let it go to your lungs, brain, lymph system, you're toast, man. You don't have long. For me, I was never dark enough to ask the doctors, like if I didn't get treatment, how long would I last? I didn't really think about asking that. I should have, but I didn't.
What was that first day of chemo like?
The first day that I had was a 6-hour day. They put the IV in my arm and I'm terrified of needles. I'm not anymore, but I used to be. The first day of chemo, they asked me, do you want to keep your IV in? And like in my mind, I was like, how the fuck would I keep an IV in like at home? But unless you want to get poked 5 days a week, you learn how to keep that IV in your arm. They wrap it up and you sleep weird. And when you shower, you hold your arm out of the shower. And
you take it back home with you?
Yeah. I kept the IV in for 5 days at a time because you only get 2 days off a week. So yeah. My cycles, I did 3 rounds of 3-week chemo. My chemo in particular was called BEP, which stands for bleomycin, etoposide, and cisplatin. It's a platinum-based chemo. It's basically fucking poison. Shit's terrible, man. I really causes a lot of things that you're not expecting. Like everyone expects to feel like nauseous or have vomiting or like diarrhea or like weight loss or anything like that. I had none of that. I had tinnitus, neuropathy, mucocytosis, which is like the acids in your stomach are attacking your esophageal lining. I had mouth ulcers, all 4 of my wisdom teeth poked through at the same time. There's a lot of things to complain about when you're going through it, but I think the important thing is that if you do have to go through it, and I hope you don't, that you just recognize that there are people, no matter what kind of cancer you have, that have it way, way worse than you. Like I was saying, I saw this interesting spectrum of like people's will to live in the cancer center. Like for me, I kind of felt like I had a little bit of an imposter syndrome, like a pot smoker at an NA meeting or something. Like I was only there for, 9 weeks of my life, but there were people there that had been there since 2008. And, that lady spent all of her time making hats for people and for free. She just did that because that was the way to fill her time. And then there were other people who were in their young 20s that didn't even come to their treatments. So I saw just this interesting spectrum, an array of people. And for the most part, I found that everyone pretty much had like a decent attitude about it. But other people treated like the staff really poorly, which blew my mind because they're just trying to help you. It's not their fucking problem that you have cancer. They're trying to make you better. I didn't really understand that. But I also understand how like the ignorant factor in people's personalities could really, come through during a time like that. Just the duress and the stress of being in a position like that, especially if you're like me and you're 30, in your early 30s. The other part of it is that testicular cancer is rare in men. I know you hear about it a lot, but it's rare. If you have cancer, it's like, as a man, it's like 1 in 500. If you had my particular kind of seminomus cancer, it's like 1 in 240,000 or something. Like, it's a rare kind of cancer, but we're not above odds. Like, I'm a regular person like anyone else, and one day I heard that my life wouldn't just continue to aimlessly exist. I think more people should just fucking get yearly physicals. Like, I know that it's not really that talked about, but like, that's really the only way that you would know if you have cancer or not. Like, I didn't feel sick. I felt normal. I realized that I liked living, and I hadn't really been presented with a reason to think about if I did or not. I just, like everybody else, just fucking did. And not well. I just did. I woke up every day with the same kind of like, fuck this, whatever shitty attitude. And this kind of fixed that, man. I'm different. I look different. I feel different. I am fucking different. I used to spend a lot of time on my phone. I didn't realize like how much time I was really spending on my phone. Like, prior to cancer, my screen time was like 6 hours and something. It's like a fucking quarter of your day, bro. I was spending on my phone.
Yeah.
But during cancer and chemo, and even currently, like, my screen time average is like 43 minutes a day.
So what did you do when you weren't on your phone getting treatment? How did you keep yourself?
I was honestly watching a lot of Shell's Wonderful World of Golf.
No,
yeah, dude, that's literally what I was doing, man. I was watching like Sam Snead play Jack Nicklaus.
Any favorite years or tournaments?
I really liked 99 John Daly versus Fred Couples. That was, nice. I really enjoyed that. It was like a 7,800 yard course. Like, dude, it looked fucking impossible. The wind was howling. It was bitching, dude. Wow. And Cup shot like 5 under, and John Daly shot like even because he had a triple on the last hole. I mean, it was phenomenal. It was a fucking great round, man. I love that shit. My second week of chemo was like when the mouth sores developed, and like the esophageal thing started. So that the mucositis feels, this is kind of the only way that you can, like, inner feelings are hard to like put into words, like kind of like an onomatopoeia or like personifying something. It kind of feels like a cactus is like being dragged through your esophagus, or like somebody is like 80 grit blocking the inside of your chest, like from the inside. I don't know how to describe it. It was fucking horrible. You can't really eat anything because of the mouth sores and stuff. The ulcers, you can't really eat a lot of foods. You can't open your mouth. I couldn't open my mouth for like 12 days. Jeez. And so I was just talking like this, and like all 4 of my wisdom teeth poked through at the same time. So it kind of felt like...
While you're on treatment?
Yeah. So I had like what felt like a double ear infection, because like the mandible connection to like the eardrums. So it felt like I had like a double ear infection, a migraine, and like intense impaction of my wisdom teeth. That's what it, like the concoction of pain that was going on. And I couldn't help, I'm not much of a crier, but like dude, that was not fun. My wife had to sit there and watch that, and there were parts of that where I wish it was just me, in a room by myself, because having to see a person who's so dedicated to you watch you go through that, it's got to be tough, man. Because like it's one thing, you hear a lot about people's dedication stories, like you hear a lot about people, being dedicated to their partner, but it's like really, really fucking profound to see someone be so dedicated to help you through something. Because I mean, she sat in a really fucking uncomfortable chair for the same amount of hours that I did. She was at every treatment, every blood work, every scan, every doctor's appointment. She made sure that I understood everything because I'm fucking brain dead. And I'm just articulate, but I don't know anything. Like without her, I wouldn't have understood anything that they were talking about. They did, their best to make sure that I understood it, but I have a 12th grade education and 10 years of machining. Like, that's it. I don't know anything about biology or, urology or oncology or any of the ologies. I don't know anything about any of those things. And so seeing her stare at me like, do you understand what they said? And, her have to break it down for me in a 4th grade, reading level so that I understand it. It was really, I almost felt like I didn't, deserve it, but I guess that's what, being married to your person means. That's what you do for I wouldn't think twice about it if it was her. And I understand that now, but at the time, that was really difficult for me to understand. It was like, why would you be so dedicated to this? It's not your cancer, it's mine. And I understand. It's just the way that we were raised. Like for me, I was an independent kid. I didn't need anything. I could do it myself. And I'm sure that was a lot easier for the people that raised me, to not have to think about every little thing with me. But with my wife, she just immediately, I was like her little bald baby bird that she was just going to nurse back to health. And it was really, I don't even know how to say the words the right way. Like, I want to say heartwarming, but in a way it was like more shocking than anything. Mind-blowing. It was
sacrificial.
It was. And there's no way that I could, pay her back for that. That's just something that I just have to take with me going forward, that if she ever needs anything, there's not even a question. Like the loyalty and devotion that she showed there was just insane. December 23rd. That was my last chemo infusion.
What was that like? How long were you there at the...
4 hours was my last one. I was actually kind of, I don't want to say annoyed with my wife because she was right, but like when my blood work came out, I was low on magnesium. And so she asked my oncology nurse to run a bag of magnesium and saline or something because my magnesium levels weren't right. And they wouldn't, like the oncology department wouldn't have done that if she didn't ask for it. That was my last day. I was home free, but she just knew that there was a better chance of me feeling better if my magnesium levels were higher. So I had to sit there for another 45 minutes instead of like the standard treatment time. So I was like,
I mean, thank God for a wife
know.
that knows this sort of thing
I know,
and
but
knows all the technicalities.
like, yeah, like when she was like looking at my blood work or whatever, she was like, "Oh, your magnesium's low," and I was like, "Don't, you know,
You're like, I want to get out
I
of here.
just want to go home. I want to get my in and out and leave." I got through it better than what I thought, what my doctors thought. All in all, I found out that I'm fairly resilient, and I don't. Not that I ever doubted it. I never thought that I wasn't resilient or anything. I just. You never know until you're put into a position like that.
Mhm.
I found out I don't have like a morbid mortal fear or like a fear of dying or anything. I just have a fear of like me not being done here. I mean, no one can even start my Buick. Like the thing would have been a 6,000 pound paperweight in the backyard. Like it's got a momentary switch in it. So fucking no one would know how to start it. I'm the only one that knows how.
Yeah.
My excursion's got title issues. There's just like,
You can't check out yet.
yeah, dude. Like I have an unpaid
many
student
loose
loan.
ends.
I have an unpaid government student loan. Like there's just, I have parking tickets and someone's gonna have to deal with those
What a
things. And
model
like,
citizen.
yeah, dude. Like I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but like to me,
Yeah.
over my dead body, am I leaving my wife after all that? With like those simple issues,
Right.
she'd have to deal with enough.
Amen. So that final treatment, I think we probably spoke like a couple of weeks before that.
Yeah.
And so you finish, and what are those next few weeks up until now, which is January 21st?
Not great.
Why?
Yeah, just like the feeling of being like, because I mean, like the BEP chemo beats the living shit out of you, man.
Mm.
So like, and it's accumulative.
Mm.
It doesn't. The longer that you get that chemo, the worse you feel.
Mm.
And there's a reason why they'll at most give you 3 or 4 rounds of it. That stuff will kill you. It elevates your heart rate. It increases your the risk of like blood clots, lung toxicity, fibrosis, lung wall strippage. There's a lot of things that go into getting a BEP or a platinum-based chemo that they can only give you for a certain amount of time. And so for me, it was just kind of like, how soon can I get back to like playing golf and like building clubs and making tools? And it took me like 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks after treatment, like to feel like I wasn't still being treated for chemo. I didn't feel sick with cancer, but I 100% felt like a cancer patient with chemo. I 100% felt like a sick person. It was, it was an interesting experience, man. Very enlightening, very eye-opening. I would invite anyone with intense depression to have like a curable but fatal ailment if not treated. I would invite anyone to take up, testicular cancer, because it will fucking clear you up, man.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, you die.
Yeah, it's black and white.
Yeah. You have 2 options. You do the treatment or you fucking die.
Yeah.
And for me, dying wasn't an option. I think, like when you're in your young 20s into your mid 30s and things are, from like your young 20s to your mid 30s, if things aren't going your way, you're in your car, you think, you see a sharp curve ahead, you think about taking your hands off the wheel. You don't do it, but you think about it. Like, would this make my life easier? Yeah, probably. It's a really gay way out of life, but you could definitely do that. The people around you are the ones that are going to pay the cost, though. You are taking the easy way. So to me, it was just like, I couldn't leave my 3 little girls fatherless. I didn't have an option. They told me I had to do treatment. It wasn't even like I had to think about it. It was just, you do it.
So when was your first round of golf back?
My first round back was at Rams Hill.
No way.
Yeah, man. That was
Treat.
that was my first round back. That was wonderful.
Yeah, that was like early second week of January or first week.
Yeah, it was January 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday, January 7th. Yeah.
Nice.
I
Who'd you
just-
go with?
I went with good friend Jared Deanda, Javi from Super Swings, and Mike O'Neill.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was a great group of guys. We played. Uh, the wind was whipping here, and I was thinking it was going to be terrible in Borrego. It was wonderful, man. It was a great day. It was like 70 degrees, clear skies. Greens were rolling at like a 12. It was a great day.
Dude.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Buddy.
It was money, dude. The turf was super firm and great for me. I don't take a divot, so that was wonderful for me. But
After not playing for so long and going through everything that you went through, what like stuck out about that round?
my putting sucked.
Your putting.
But I mean, really, it was just that I noticed that I was tired. I noticed like the toll that chemo took on me.
Yeah.
I would have played, 36 in a normal day.
Right.
And on like 14, I was hoping to see the clubhouse
Yeah.
pretty soon. Like I was
Yeah.
tired and I really wanted the brisket and cheese sandwich. That was
So
I was feeling like a fat boy who was tired. I wanted a Diet Coke and I wanted to sit down. So I noticed that like I felt, like 45% of me. And now I would say I feel like about 75% of me. I'll get back to lifting weights here in a minute and get strong again. I'm not gonna lie, it's been kind of nice to be unmotivated and not have to be motivated. You just worry about existing and not walking towards any bright lights. You just deal with whatever implications you have and realize that they're temporary.
all right, so the Klubs tool.
Yeah, dude.
I saw you put out, it was like a post or something, but you basically said that you wouldn't be able to work with resin anymore. Yeah. Tell me about that.
So I used to make these resin style tools. Most resins, epoxies, stabilized stone workings, they're usually cancerous. They all have a Prop 65 warning on them. And one of the things that like my doctors told me was to just limit my exposure to things like that. Because the kind of cancer that I had requires bleomycin. Bleomycin is a really intense antibiotic, and one of its side effects is that it's really, really, really hard on your lungs. And so anything that you can do to minimize your exposure to anything that's like a carcinogen or a cancer-causing particle, in my case, really dust, because these things are super dusty to make. So anything I could do to limit that was going to be beneficial to me. So I had to say, I can't make those tools anymore. And it sucked. I made a gateway for other people to make those tools after me. And I've seen a lot of people attempt to make a tool like mine. Most of them make it with the machine, so it looks really junky. Make it with your hands. I just, and then I had to make a change. I had to, pivot and make these that are, all brass and keychain, so you can put it in your pocket and on your belt loop, and it doesn't have to be in your pocket or whatever. Yeah, all in all, I'm happy. I get to these tools, frankly, they take way too long to make, and it kind of became a little bit of a drag on me. People are very particular about what they like on their tools, and it's understandable. They were paying a lot of money for this. They wanted it to be exactly what they want, and I have a hard time giving people exactly what they want if it's not what I want to make. And so by limiting what's available to people, it makes it enjoyable for me to make it again, because I'm in charge of how it looks. I'm in charge of the stamping. I'm in charge of the kind of keychain that I put on it. Nobody gets any input. Like they think they do, but they don't. And they're less expensive, so more people buy them. And honestly, I enjoy making a simpler tool. I think it's really easy to overcomplicate something simple, but it's really hard to do something simple really well. So I think that I'm doing that well. I've always been a simplistic person. And I think making a really extravagant tool is really cool. And it's cool that I can do it. But I also got burnt out. Mm-hmm. And I think when you do something that has so many steps in it, you run into steps that you don't like doing. Mm. And I think if you limit the amount of steps that things have, you'll be able to do them longer, more sustainably, and deliver a better product for a better price. Mm-hmm. And still have it be handmade, still have it be custom, one of one. No one has. I don't measure anything still. Everything is a different dimension than its sister product. Mm-hmm. Nothing is the same.
Yeah. It's a neat thing to know you and to see this tool change with you.
Yeah. Thanks, man. The juice is worth the squeeze, man. I didn't know it before. I woke up every day like everybody else, kind of dreading life's simple intricacies, but frankly, you can learn something every day. And if you just wake up and do something that's like different and insignificant, small changes over time amount to really, really big differences and impacts in your like day-to-day existence. Like for me, I woke up and I stopped saying fuck this. And I didn't mean to. It wasn't a conscious effort. It was just a byproduct of having cancer and a decent mindset about having to go through chemo. I don't know, man. Life is fucking difficult, and it's really not that short. I think it's short if you're depressed.
Yeah.
I really do. Like I think if you let life's subtle inconveniences rule how you feel about your day, life's gonna feel pretty short. Mm. You spend a lot of time looking at the miserable aspects of really enjoyable things. Like raising kids. It's difficult. It is. And they push your buttons and they call you stupid without calling you stupid. And it's really hard to deal with sometimes. And you want to raise your voice and you want to yell at them, but then you realize they're only little for 4 years. And, frankly, you're only in your 20s for 10 years and you're only in your 30s for 10 years. But if you're an asshole when you're 20, people remember that you're an asshole when you're 40. Mm-hmm. And so it's not the amount of time that you spend. It's not the number of dollars that's in your account. It's literally like the amount of people that you can come in contact with and exchange something with over the period of your life. Like my life simply will never be measured in dollars. It'll be measured in the amount of barely running vehicles that I can fit on my property and by how many people I can educate for free. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just gonna get what I can while I can and teach what I can while I can. And I don't know if the lessons that I have to give are worth listening to, but if you're listening, I hope you learned something. I don't know.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, bro. Thanks for doing this, man. We are at Hollowed Ground, Indian Wells Country Club, the home of many who did it better than us before us. And It feels great to share the same ground. It's like
man.
It's kind of vibrating here.
It is.
I feel like none of this, like all the tents and people, you could still remove all of this and like the ground would still vibrate the same way.
Yeah, it would.
It's weird.
It would. I remember last fall when everything was going down, you said you would be here.
Yeah, never a question. It helps to have friends that tell you that they're not worried too.
Yeah.
That was like one of the very first things, actually that Brian Engel told me. 2 hours after I, just kind of like expressed that some things were going to be different. And this isn't like a GoFundMe or like a charity thing. It's just like me letting people know that things are going to be a little bit different. He just sent me a text and it wasn't, he said like, I'm not going to, mush you out or anything because neither of us wants to throw up about cancer. We just want to just do what you have to do and just get out of there. And basically he just said like, first glance, not even worried, like you're a bear, this stands no chance. And then that was it. If anyone's going to say anything to anyone who's in a position they haven't been in, that's like the best thing you can say. More than a dozen people here did or said something. I think Tony Bacardi checked in on me like probably like 9 times throughout a 12-week treatment cycle, wow. It just seemed like I was on speed dial to him. And like it's just, it's so cool, like to see people care so much. I talk to you all the time, throughout that.
Yeah.
Your lovely wife was always, telling me like you are like the coolest fucking person, and that's just so not true. It's just it's just so fucking not true. I'm a weird guy who makes weird things in his garage. There's nothing else exciting in my life. Just being a dad, getting these tools made, and staying on top of like my medical statuses, like just making sure that I'm doing everything that I should and be staying away from things that I should. We all have vices, and no one loves a good vice more than me.
It's only fitting to give this award to someone who, quite frankly, is just probably the happiest person to be here. Because the most valuable thing we have is time. And what we try to shed a light on in this thing is just sharing that time together. And like my grandpa said, to meet and enjoy the fellowship. And this is a person who always comes bearing a gift, a hug, nice words, and he's also a guy that if the shit hit the fan, he would kick someone's ass for you. And he's as Craig Dunlap as they come in my book. And I'm happy he's still here. He just won a successful fight with the C word. And we bought the biggest jacket we possibly could to fit this man because he's a bear. Chris Fisher, cousin Klubs, man of the year. And we have a custom putter with the new Nation head covers, a custom built Nation putter just for you. You won't be able to use it just yet because these two gentlemen are going to grab their 7-irons. We're going to head out to 18. We have some cigars and Hesse cigarettes left over. Go ahead and grab a drink at the thing. Thank you guys for coming. Let's go to 18 for the Manberg booth.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sand and watches the ships that go sailing. Somewhere beyond the sea, she's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms